Monday Mortgage Minute with your hosts, Tom McNamara and Bruce Woodburn.
Yeah.
Hey, Bruce.
I feel like I'm going to a boxing match. Sometimes in this industry, it feels like a boxing match, doesn't it?
It does. It does occasionally. It does.
Oh, what a great weekend. Mother's Day weekend. Beautiful time to celebrate all these hardworking moms that do so much for us. I don't know where I'd be without my kid's mom. I can tell you that right now, but
Yeah, for sure.
it was great. Hey, listen, I don't know about you, but I do know about you because you and I have a contract that came in over the weekend.
Yep.
You wrote one for one of our clients. The weekend was super busy. I'm seeing a ton more people jumping in the market. So I want your opinion on why you think so many people are jumping in the market right now.
I've been saying this for a while. I think people are they're just over worrying about getting a lower rate and thinking that 3 or 4% is going to come back around, and they're just deciding to buy homes. The people that we put under contract this weekend, they looked 3 or 4 years ago when everything was going absolutely crazy, and they kept getting outbid.
Yeah,
and so they gave up. And so, now they're back. The market's a little more stable. They were able to look at, I think we looked at like 12 houses. And funny thing is, though, this is really funny. One of them, they wanted to make an offer on it. And when I checked back in, after we had just seen it, it was under contract. And they're like, oh, this isn't going to happen all over again, is it? And I'm like, no, it won't keep happening. Don't worry. And so we did get them under contract on one, but yeah, I mean, houses that are priced right are selling quick. Houses that are priced wrong are sitting. And those are the ones that you can get a deal on.
What advice do you have for sellers or realtors that are representing sellers that are sitting on the market right now? What advice do you have for them?
And get realistic about your price. At the end of the day, there's a lot of things that you can do for a home to sell it. Right. You can fix things up. You can make it nicer. You can present it better. There's all kind of little tweaks and things that you can do. But at the end of the day, price is what sells a home. Right.
It really is.
Do those little things to improve value so that the price appears right. But if you don't do those things, then the only other thing is price.
So if you're a realtor listening right now and you've got a seller that you've been trying to convince to drop the price because things aren't really moving for them, and yet the surrounding areas are moving because buyers are jumping in, what conversation might you have with that seller?
Yeah, so with that seller, it depends on the type of person that seller is, right? So if they're a very analytical person, I'm going to bring a bunch of data and show them the data, like this house sold, this house sold, this house sold. Let's look at the differences, right? And just kind of bring that out for them. If they're more emotionally driven, then I'm going to talk about the story and their goal and where they really want to be. And, you're planning on moving to Utah. So let's envision getting there instead of worrying about squeezing every nickel out of this house, So it just depends on the person, really. At the end of the day, it's a huge financial decision, but it's very emotional.
Right.
And so, we just have to walk through, with people that journey,
Absolutely.
Heck, with these buyers that I have, they got into a little bit of a deep conversation with each other about their wants and needs, and it got a little hairy for a moment. I felt like I'm a marriage counselor, on top of being a tour guide and on top of being a financial advisor and all the other things that we have.
Well, the wife calls the shots, but he's the one out working hard, right? And he doesn't always get it. And she's always trying to kick him back into play. And he's like, he called me on Thursday and said, can I go buy 2 more cars? And I'm like, no, you can't. So, it's one of those situations where you and I have to be psychologists. We have to be marriage counselors. We have to be everything to these folks, but
we do.
that's what we signed up for. Hey, the stock market's doing incredibly well right now. I don't know
Yes.
where it's going to end up today, but it's up almost 1,000 points. The bond market's flat. That means interest rates should start maybe improving maybe this week if this continues to happen. We'll see how that goes. But we also have Hometown Heroes coming back, the down payment assistance that is a state funded down payment assistance program through stimulus money. Now, it does not open up until July. July, it opens up. Last 2 times we had $100 million infused into this. It only lasted for 45 days, 100 million to last for the whole state, because they opened it up to more than just heroes. It was nurses, teachers, police, firefighters, military. Now it's anybody that can qualify for it as a first-time home buyer, meaning you have not owned a primary residence in the last 3 years. There's a lot of flexibility. So I want to talk about some pros and cons to the Hometown Heroes program. So pros, you can get up to 5% of the loan amount towards your closing costs and prepaid escrows. 5%. Okay, of the loan amount, not the purchase price. Minimum $10,000. So if you're at the low end of it and the 5% does not equal 10 grand, you're going to get 10 grand anyway.
Yep, absolutely.
Pros. Other pro, you can have a non-occupying co-borrower, meaning that you are the one that lives in Florida. You're the first-time home buyer. You qualify for Hometown Heroes, except you don't make quite enough money. So you want mom and dad to co-sign, but they're already homeowners and they live in Kentucky and they're not first-time home buyers. This program can work for that. Very unusual. Most down payment assistance programs do not, period, allow for non-occupying co-borrowers. None. Also, a first-time home buyer with Hometown Heroes means you have not owned a primary. So let's just say you and your spouse got separated or divorced 3 years ago. Let's just say she moved out. He kept the house. She wants to buy another one, but she's still on the deed and mortgage to this house, but she hadn't lived there for 3 years. She qualifies.
Nice. Nice.
A lot of benefits, downsides. Okay.
Oh, wait, let's talk about the income limits are super high, $144,000 or so.
$144,000 and change, where usually you're capped at about 65,000. That's
a big one.
Even USDA caps at about 109,000, somewhere in that area. So this goes much higher, which is the number one thing that keeps us from getting down payment assistance. Is people are like, I make too much money to qualify for it, and yet I don't make enough money to qualify for as much house as I need to buy. So it's really a challenging. So this opens up a lot of doors for folks like that. There are a lot of benefits. Now, there's always a pro and a con to everything. So we on the Monday Mortgage Market show, we do not leave out the challenges. So you have to repay the money no matter what. Even after 30 years, it's going to be repaid.
Yep.
The other downside, when you're mixing any down payment assistance into a purchase transaction, it can make the seller a little nervous. But there's no special home inspections with this program like there can be with local down payment assistance. So I don't look at that as being a con. But here's where I find the biggest challenge for people. Right now, interest rates are in the mid to high sixes. Okay. Hometown Heroes is going to set their own rate. You do not get to negotiate the rate. It's their rate. That's it. But if you want to refinance in the future, if interest rates were to drop to 5%, 5.25%, you're going to go, man, I need to refinance. I'm going to save $300 a month. You will have to repay the money before you can refinance.
I know.
Okay. So just be prepared for that.
Yep.
So it's still free money. Even though you're repaying it back, you got free money to buy the house. So if you think you're going to have to refinance or want to refinance, what you're going to want to do is make sure that you've got enough money to maybe pay that off, or hope that the house appreciates in value enough. Now, remember, there's still a seasoning requirement on that too. So let's talk about seasoning requirements.
All
So
right.
you can, if you can do a no cash out refi at any time. But when you are pulling money away from a refinance, that loan has to season for 1 year. Okay. Now, Hometown Heroes and down payment assistance is not considered cash out if I have to repay that. So you're okay with that. I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
Interesting. All right. So yeah, so if your home increases in equity, you can use that increased equity to pay off that loan and
It's
still.
not considering walking away with money.
Gotcha.
Where if you had a home equity line of credit and I was refinancing you and paying off a home equity line of credit that you put a pool in with or bought a car with or did home improvements with,
Sure.
that is cash out. And if it's cash out, you can't go any higher than 80% loan to value.
Right. Gotcha. All right.
So
Well, hey.
that's why people hire you and I to help navigate these situations.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. So so good. So we got that program coming up here, and it's almost that time. So actually last year I remember I think I had 3 people lined up in June, like right at the end of June, that we used the July money, right? So we found the house, we were, ready to be under contract. As long as we weren't weeks from closing,
We snagged that money up at the last minute of the
we did that
last
too.
day. The last minute of the last day. I'm telling you, if we would have waited 10 more minutes, we wouldn't have got it. It was just so. My advice to anybody listening out there, there's a couple things you need to do. You cannot secure your Hometown Heroes money until you're under contract on a house. So first things first, you call me up, you get pre-approved immediately. That means all your docs, your pay stubs, W-2s, bank statements, divorce decree, everything. You got it. Now you're fully approved. Now you go out with your real estate agent. Tom goes out and shows you a property. You make an offer. We then, as soon as that offer is accepted, we secure the money or reserve it. It's called with Florida Bond through Hometown Heroes. That way your money's secure. Now you have 60 days to close. 60 days. So you want to get it in and get her done, but you want to be all set. For all you people, they're going to wait for the end of June to get your application made. You're not going to make it. I don't think you're going to make it. It'll be filled up. So
you might not.
Okay. I'm telling you, if it were me, I wouldn't want to take the chance because you think about that. What are we talking about? $25,000, $30,000, $15,000 of money here. You don't want to miss out on that opportunity.
No, and I'm wondering how that's going to impact our inventory, because inventory right now we're at like 5.5 months of inventory, which is, it's a balanced market, but it's quite high compared to what we were, have been for the last 5 or 6 years. We've been, at some point we were under 3 weeks of inventory. So, I wonder, if the speed at which some of these houses get picked up in July is going to show up in those stats somewhere. It'd be interesting to see. It
will be very interesting. Listen, we're at 13 and a half minutes. I want you guys to know, get your applications made. Don't miss out on Hometown Heroes. You need help with real estate, buying, selling. You want to flip a home. You want an investor to buy it. You need hard money. You need conventional money, VA, FHA, construction, renovation. Got it right here. Tom and I can help you with whatever your needs are in real estate. If you're a real estate agent, Tom is gracious enough to help you learn the process. He's also looking for talent. I'm looking for talent and loan officers. If you're not having success where you are right now, come talk to me. I have branch opportunities and loan officer opportunities. I got to run, my friend. Have a great day.
Bruce, make it a great day.
You too.